And hello, we are going to look at the purpose and goals of political parties in the United States of America. And as you probably know, you are familiar with the Democrats and the Republicans. And the Republicans often go by a nickname. The GOP stands for the Grand Old Party. You often will see that in media, media reports, news articles. What most people don't realize is that we have more than just the two main parties. We also have what are called third parties. And here are some examples. The American Independent Party, the Constitution Party, the Libertarian Party, the Green Party. These are parties that are not as popular, but they have the same main goals as political parties. And we're going to talk about that right now. So, what do we mean by political parties? It's not a place where you go and have a good time and dance the bachata. No. A political party is a group of people who share similar beliefs about how government should be run and how the government should solve the major issues facing the country. Okay? They are typically very powerful organizations that fight to get the government to act in a way that the political party thinks is best. Parties are organized at every single level of government. All right, so just like federalism, we have our national, state, and local government. We have the national parties, the state parties, and the local parties. The main goal, all right, if you had to break down political parties to the absolute most important thing, they are all about having their candidates win elections in order to make policies that please the party, that follow the party's platform or their philosophy. Okay? And if you see in this little image here, I like this picture because you have these people holding hands. The idea here, just like everything we've been talking about, you have these groups of people working together to promote change. More people working together is usually a lot more powerful than one or a couple people working together to make change. All right. What do political parties do? Their main functions. So the first thing they do is they nominate candidates. All right. Whether it's for local, state, or national elections, parties are responsible for selecting candidates who will run for political office. These parties choose people they feel that can be elected, as well as promote the party's beliefs. Here you have a picture showing you a bunch of the Republican candidates for president back in 2012. And at the time, all of these people had big supporters, but eventually the party ended up choosing Mr. Mitt Romney to represent the Republican Party. In 2016, we will see. The second main goal is to operate government. So if a political party has a majority of seats in Congress, or if the political party controls the presidency, they get to make laws and rules that promote their party's platform. And this is a key word here, this word platform. A platform might be like a dance platform, like something you stand on. But when we're talking about political parties, a platform is a word to describe the goals of the party. What issues do they want to do? Are they for or against abortion? Are they for or against government healthcare programs? And if you take a look here, this is an image showing you the Democratic Party platform. There's that key word. Extending tax cuts for middle-class families, strengthening Medicare and Social Security. These are government programs paid for by taxes that help older people, whether it's through health care like Medicare or Social Security, which is, monthly payments to old people, giving tax breaks for companies that create jobs in America, and achieving marriage equality. That is a big, that's a newer issue that the Democrats really are pushing. Third function of parties involves informing the public. They run campaigns for candidates. They help candidates put out television ads, pamphlets. They put out messages to help get their candidates elected so they can control the government and make policies they want. And another important goal of political parties that many people don't realize is that you need a lot of money to win elections. All right. This is some numbers going back from 2008, and every couple years we have elections, and you'll notice in 04 and 08 and 2000 the numbers are really big. That's when we had a presidential election, and you'll notice that for each presidential election it was 3 billion, then it was 4 billion, then it was 5 billion. In 2012 it was over $6 billion that people donated to help candidates win their election. We are talking serious money, all right? Because because elections require so much money, the parties help raise money for their candidates. Okay. Mentioned this in the beginning. Besides the main two political parties, you also have what are called third parties, and the HSA loves to put some questions on there that talk about third parties. Third parties are smaller parties that have their own beliefs. Typically, they're much smaller. They're not as recognized. They don't have as much supporters. They don't have as much money. One of the most famous examples are the Green Party or the Socialist Party. If you take a look at this hat here, I think it's kind of cool. You have the Republicans, the Demoblicans, Republicrats and Demoblicans, and then you have third party, showing you that the third party supporter thinks the Republicans and Democrats are all the same. What do third parties do? So if they don't win many elections, and they've never won the presidency, though they have won Senate seats and governorships and congressional elections, third parties bring lots of attention to issues that are usually ignored by the main parties. Think about like a bumblebee. A bumblebee is going to create a whole big stir, but once the bee stings, the bee kind of dies and falls apart. The analogy here is that third parties often bring up issues that maybe were not getting lots of attention, but because they brought these issues up, the other parties end up adopting those issues. For instance, ending slavery back in the 1860s. That started as a really crazy idea, but eventually the Republicans picked it up, and eventually Abraham Lincoln ended slavery, and then the 13th Amendment was passed. Global warming started as some fringe idea by the Green Party and all these liberal people, but then the Democrats started really pushing for it, and some Republicans, want to do things to end global warming, though that gets a little bit controversial. All right, third parties. Keep going here. One of the other big impacts that some people don't like saying, but third parties can end up taking votes from the major parties. If you're a third party member, you might not like that argument. People should have a right to vote for whoever they want, but on the other hand, if you have all these third parties, then the other liberal parties might feel that the third parties are taking votes from them. And then finally, the HSA, like I said, they like to talk about third parties, and one of the ways they like to talk about third parties are the challenges that third parties face. The biggest challenge is money. As we said before, you need lots and lots of money to advertise and organize your candidates, and because third parties don't have a lot of people, they don't tend to get a lot of money. The second thing that's really unfair for third parties are that many state laws make it hard for third parties to even be on the voting ballot. This is a sample ballot from the 2014 Maryland governor's race, and you'll notice you have the Democratic candidate, the Republican candidates, and even the Libertarian candidates. The Libertarians are a third party, but you don't see the Green Party, you don't see the Socialist Party. That's because in Maryland you have to follow really strict rules just to get your party's name on the ballot. If your name is not on the ballot, how are people going to vote for you? So that's a really big obstacle third parties face. All right, really quickly I want to talk about the differences between Democrats and Republicans. Democrats tend to be more liberal. Republicans tend to be more conservative. What does that mean? Well, Democrats tend to favor the government helping people if they need assistance, while Republicans, I'm going to keep going with Democrats, tend to believe that people should choose their own social values, should be able to choose who to marry, they want to have an abortion, they feel like that is their choice and the government should not restrict them. The people who usually, not all people, but usually support the Democrats tend to be working class people, people without lots of money, people of color, Latinos, African Americans, Asian people, people that aren't maybe as religious, and a lot of younger people tend to be Democratic. But like I said, not all of these people are Democrats. All right, Republicans are much more conservative. They believe that instead of the government, doing all these things for people, that people should have the liberty and freedom to do what they want, to start their own business, to pay fewer taxes, to have less government restrictions. Socially, Republicans tend to, but not always, promote the idea of traditional social values. Most Republicans are against marriage equality, gay marriage rights. Most Republicans believe that abortion should not be allowed. And then finally, the people who tend to support the Republican Party tend to be the wealthier, upper middle class people, people who maybe are a little bit more religious, people that are older. Like I said before, not all of these people tend to support the Republicans, but historically, these are the biggest supporters of the Republicans. And as you can see, we have come to the end of the political party presentation. If you need any assistance with any of these questions, any of these topics, don't forget to ask your amazingly smart and gifted teacher. LOL. Have a good one.